Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Smart Marketers Academy, and more specifically, welcome to Get More Clients Wednesday. Could you please indicate if you could hear me? Could you let me know if you could hear me? Thank you. I just want to make sure that you can hear me before I start going into the content of the session. Okay, thank you, Karen. Welcome to the webinar. And I'm assuming that all the others can, otherwise, okay, I think Ernest has also said that he could hear me. Thank you very much. So I won't waste any time. I'll go straight into the content of this evening's session, which is so the session today is about how to differentiate your business in the marketplace. Okay, just a brief bit about myself. I'm Davida Yemi Akale. I'm the founder and CEO of the Smart Marketers Academy, and I help women entrepreneurs build six-figure businesses. At the Smart Marketers Academy, we help you to transition into entrepreneurship fast. And if you've been on the program before, I always mention that a lot of people are coming from employment. Maybe they're currently employed and they're wanting to go into business. You definitely need a different mindset to do business from what you need as a specialist in your particular profession. And a lot of times the struggles that most people face is because their minds are not really set for business. So part of what we do is to help you make that transition and to help you make it fast. One of the things I'm passionate about is about helping you to build your business the smart way. There's a hard way to do things, as you probably know, and there's also a smart way to do things. So we continuously look for ways to help you do things smart, which basically means we help you leverage your time, leverage your resources, leverage probably if you have leverage your relationships so that you can do what you need to do in achieve your goals in a short space of time. One of the major areas that we focus on is helping you get more clients. And in most cases, this is a skill that most people need to work on. And the good thing about this is that if getting clients is a skill, that means anyone can do it if you decide to, if you put your mind to learn what it takes to get more clients. And then we help you to make more profits. There's no point in being in business if it's not going to be profitable. So we're about helping you create a business that would make an impact, meaning it would help people, but at the same time, we are looking to help you build a business that will be profitable for you, that will be worth your while. And if you're up to it, if you're up to the challenge, we'll help you build a six-figure business. Now, just quickly go into the course's objective. And by the end of this session, you will learn 3 key strategies for differentiating your business in the marketplace. You will learn 3 key strategies for differentiating your business in the marketplace. Now, once at the end of the delivery of the training, I will be sharing with you some of the services that I offer. There will be a question and answer section where you can ask questions relating to what relating to the content that I've delivered, and then we'll close the session. Okay, so let's go straight into the first part of the program. So as the question asks up there, it says, is your business a commodity? And basically what a commodity is something that is common, something that is not necessarily different from another. So if you look at the picture at the bottom of the screen, you'd see all these goldfishes, but let's assume that all of them are the same color, they're all blue. That means they're the same. And if they're the same, there's nothing unique or special about them. Yeah. So a business that is if your business is a commodity, that means there's nothing distinguishing it from other businesses around you or in your niche. And if your business is a commodity, that actually will affect your getting clients and making profits. So are you like every other business in your niche? And if you are, how are you going to make your business stand out in your marketplace, enabling you to be more client attractive? So what we're trying to do today is to look for ways to make your business stand out so that you can attract more clients to your business. Now, if your business is just like any other business, in most cases, you'll end up having to compete on price. People would say, well, the business down the road, they're selling it for, or they're providing it for maybe about, let's say, £100. Why is yours much more expensive? So they'll compare you with another business based on price. But if there was something unique about you, they wouldn't look to, it won't just be the price that they're looking at. They will look to the other aspect of your business that makes you unique, and they will believe that that aspect of your business is giving them a value, which is enabling you to charge different prices or higher prices. So what is differentiation? Now, differentiation is a way of distinguishing your business from others as a means of creating a strong presence in the marketplace. So I've had quite a number of people ask me this question: how do I make my business different? How do I make it different from all the other businesses in the marketplace? So basically what we're looking at doing today is to give you certain parameters for doing that. And when your business is different, your presence, you create a strong presence. And when your presence is strong, when you create a strong presence, it becomes attractive and attracts more clients to yourself. So why must you differentiate? Why is it important that you do this? A lack of differentiation leads to competition. Like I said, you'll be competing on price. And that's not a good position to be in, because when you start competing on price, your profit margins are no longer there. You lose all your profits. It can eventually become unprofitable, because another business, for instance, if there's another bigger business that has different facilities and are able to make their prices much cheaper, maybe they can buy in labor and they can make their services much cheaper, it puts you at a disadvantage because you can't really compete with them at that level. And what you find when you have a lack of differentiation is that you see a lot of cookie cutter businesses. They're called cookie cutter businesses. For instance, if you have an MLM business, a multi-level networking business, you'd find that all your businesses are the same. Everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's selling the same thing. The products is the same. Everything is the same. So if you find yourself, you don't even have to be in an MLM business to find yourself in that particular situation. But if you do, you need to do something different to make your business stand out from the pack. And a lack of differentiation, like I mentioned earlier, leads to you being treated like a commodity. A commodity is basically something that is common. It's like trying to sell, I don't know, a commodity maybe in it might be if you're selling to the Eskimos, a commodity to them will be ice. It's common there, so they don't need it. Doesn't You can't really, there's so much of it available that you can't really there's no there's a high competition. You can't really make a profit from what you're selling there. So instead of having a commodity, a business that's a commodity, what you need is to differentiate your business so that you stand out, and in doing so, you create a unique brand for yourself. For instance, I mean, when I was planning this program, a thought that crossed my mind was when you wear a designer T-shirt. Most often, the difference between a general T-shirt and a designer T-shirt is in the logo. So the general T-shirt is a commodity, and because it's common and everybody can access it, everybody can get it, you can't really sell a normal T-shirt at a high price. But when it has a unique brand, that brand adds a different value. The T-shirt might be made of the same material, but the fact that it's got this brand, it differentiates it and gives it some sort of unique value. So in relation to your business, you need to be able to do something to it that would add value to it, or give it value in the eyes of your customers or your clients. Okay, so a lack of differentiation, which is what I've been saying, will keep you competing on price, and that is not a good position to be in. Now, if you do not differentiate, you die. Your business dies. If you don't differentiate, your business will eventually die, because you cannot sustain a business where you're not making much profits, where you have to keep on cutting your prices to be able to win business, because the other person is selling it cheaper, you try to go cheaper. There's a limit to how cheap you can sell your products or services. So eventually, if you have to compete on price, and if you're not differentiated in the marketplace, it's possible that that business is not going to be sustainable, and you might be out of business in no time. So basically, when you differentiate yourself, what you're doing is you're separating yourself from the rest of the market, and you're distinguishing yourself so that people can relate to you as an entity. You're bringing yourself out of the pack. You're standing out. You're distinguishing yourself. You're giving yourself a platform from which you would speak from, and from which you would address your target market. Your difference will attract a unique audience to you. So the fact that you have differentiated yourself, you'll find that you will attract a unique audience to yourself. Now, I just wanted to give another quick example, and it's not necessarily a business example, but basically it's to do with being different. I was on a trip, and I was actually in India, and there were people who looked like me because they were dark-skinned. However, they were not. They were Asian. So everywhere I went, I stood out because I caught people's attention. People would come up to me. People would touch me, wanted to touch me. So, for instance, I might have been at a busy airport or a busy train station. All eyes were literally on me, and it wasn't like they weren't people who were as dark as me, but it was because I had different features and I was from a different race. So, yeah. So anywhere you go, if you or in the marketplace, if you're in the marketplace, if you can do anything to make your business difference, you'll find that you'd attract more attention than all the other businesses around you. So one way of, when you differentiate yourself, you're basically stepping out of commonality and you're refusing to remain a commodity. So if you do a few things, if you put into practice some of the steps that, or some of the points that I share with you today, what you're doing is you're stepping up. You're stepping out of you're stepping away from the from the crowd, and you're distinguishing yourself. You're distinguishing your business in your particular niche. You're declaring your unique identity, and you will attract more unique clients who resonate with you, and you'll eventually make a lot more profits. Now, by differentiating yourself, you're telling the world who you are, and you're shouting out, "Here I am, I have arrived." Because before differentiating yourself, people don't really take notice of you. You might think, okay, yes, I do have a few clients. People do know that I'm there. But you'd find that if you really differentiate yourself and you do it very well, you will stand out and you will attract a lot more clients. And that basically means more profits for you. Okay. So we're going to look at several ways in which you can differentiate yourself. The first one is differentiating yourself by being you. Now, there's nothing as the easiest way to stand out in the marketplace is to enhance who you are, is to express who you are. Now, you need to depend. You see, business, when you come into business, a lot of the issues that you probably might have as you start to market your business will have to do with your particular mindset. And what you find is that other people around you also are thinking in particular ways. Now, one way that I've always thought, even apart from business, one way I've always thought of myself as being different. I've always thought of myself as being unique. So I never think somebody would compare me. If you get to know me, you won't be able to compare me with another. There are no two types of me. So basically, one major way is that if you're differentiating yourself in the marketplace, is that you be yourself. Okay? And in doing so, you create your category of one, because there's no one else like you. There's no one else like you. Now, if you're not yourself and you try to be someone else, or you try to hide who you are, you find that you just blend in with the crowd, and that's not what you want. So basically, one of the first few things, especially as a small business, one of the first ways of differentiating yourself is building your business around you, around who you are. And one of the ways to do it is by being a non-conformist. Now, a lot of us have learned how to conform, and we've maybe in school you've gone through the schooling process, and you've realized that, well, when you conform in class, that's the teacher's happy. Maybe you end up having more marks, and you're thought to be a good student, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to business, that particular mindset doesn't work any longer. It's the non-conformists, the people who do not conform, that actually get ahead in business. If you look around at the successful people in business, you find out that they were people who did not conform with everyone. They stood out. They did their own thing. They followed their heart. They followed their own passion. Yeah. So being a non-conformist is an important thing. And for me, I'm the kind of person that I've never wanted to be the same as anybody else. But some people feel safer being like somebody else. So you need to decide if that is you, you need to be comfortable. You need to start getting comfortable about being different and not conforming with the pack. Now, when we're talking about not conforming, if you do it in an obnoxious way, what you do is probably repel people, maybe repel the people that you're trying to attract. So you need to be a non-conformist in a very positive way. The other thing you need to do is also you need to be fully expressed. A lot of times we go into the marketplace hiding certain aspects of who we are. And that is, maybe we think, okay, maybe people might reject us because if we show them who we are, or if we tell them who we are, they might not really, it might be offensive to them. So we kind of, we kind of blend in. And generally, I mean, if you're coming from the workplace, the culture in the workplace is that you ought to be politically correct. So if you're coming into business and you're wanting to be politically correct, it can work against you in the sense that, yes, you'll be like every other business and you will not stand out. So you need to keep in mind that you need to be a nonconformist, you need to be happy being who you are and standing out, and you need to really be fully expressed. So basically what I mean by fully expressed, I've explained to you, but I mean not holding yourself back. And I realize, I mean, even as much as I think I don't conform, I realize that in certain areas I've held myself back. And that's because of maybe, yes, trying to be politically correct. You're in a particular circle, everybody's like this. For instance, when I go networking, once I join a networking group, everybody's like this, and I try to blend in because you're trying to fit into the norm of the group. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not to blend in to the degree that you do not stand out and you're no different from any other business in the pack. Okay, so you need to be your brand. So now let's look at ways in which you can brand yourself, how you can brand yourself as you. So you can start from, I decided to start with your values because these are internal things that you embody. These are things that within you that you can express. Yeah, so if we look at your values, the values you have can make your business different. Yeah. For an example is if you believe in affluence, your business will be different from another person who does not. So that the values that you hold can be expressed, and by expressing these values that you hold, they will make your business different from the other businesses in the marketplace. Okay, you might value art. Charity might be something that you value. Community. I mean, especially if we talk about charity, when I talk to my friends who are working in the city and I'm telling them about my business and they know that I have founded a charity, they always tell me, why don't you just use the charity to, why don't you just, use the charity to talk about the business or to promote the business. So you see that people would buy into your business or buy into your business because of the other things that you are involved in. Yeah. So your values might be community, financial independence, optimism, originality, wisdom, or fun. So by picking some of the values, you probably have your values. Maybe some of them might be in this list, but you would realize that if you have two businesses and one is interested in charity and the other is interested in fun, even though they might deliver the same type of service, but those businesses will be very different and they will attract different people. So that is one way in which you can differentiate yourself or your business, by using your personal values. Another one, or the last one on my list here, is wealth. Okay, so another way to differentiate your business is by using your personality. If your personality is colorful, or you love color, there's certain colors that I like that come out in a lot of things that I do. If you view from when I was very young, red was a color that I was identified with. And when I wore red, in those days, I wasn't the most pleasant person to be around. I don't know, I think the red, as I was told, did affect my mood. But now now it's different because I'm a different person, obviously. But so certain colors may differentiate you, or may find their way into the expression of the way that you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. And your personality, you can be a daring person. So that can come in. You can be healthy. You can be healthy, modest, resourceful, selfless, patriotic, optimistic, spiritual. So all these elements can come into your business, and it would make your business very different from the next person who is selling similar things. And what you'd find is that somebody who values spirituality, maybe for instance, if they're a Christian and you are providing a service that they want, they might decide to do business with you, not because you sell that particular service, but because you have some certain common grounds in terms of spirituality. Okay. I still have another. I will just go quickly through my other list with regards to personality. Your business, it can be youthful. So you might, if your personality is youthful and you bring that into your business, you might attract people. You might attract more youth than the elderly. Ethical and professional, motivational, romantic, modern, futuristic, serious, and or easygoing. So these are the different these are the different elements of personality that can seep into your business and differentiate you in the marketplace. So another area is your background, and that could be your gender. It could be racial, it could be educational, family, or we can talk about your personal circumstances. You could be single with children. You could have survived a challenging situation. So basically, let's talk about your personal circumstances. For instance, if you're single with children and you're running a particular business, what you might find is that if you express that element of maybe yourself being a single parent, you might find that you attract other people who respect the fact that, okay, you're a single parent and you've achieved certain things. So there might be other single parents in the marketplace who that might resonate with, and as a result, that might attract them to your business. Or you might have survived a challenging situation. You would find that if you look in the marketplace, you see different people differentiating themselves based on certain experiences that they've gone through at different parts, different times in their life. So it's a way of turning whatever seemed like ashes into beauty, making instead of letting that be a negative in your life, you can turn the negatives in your life into positives. Another way to differentiate yourself is by using your interests. So for instance, if your interests are travel, art, health, or whatever it might be, you might be able to bring that into your business. For instance, I know of a lady who is a business coach, and she's got horses, and in her newsletter she talks about horses. In most cases, she probably might attract people who are interested in horses or who are interested in animals, and they might be drawn to her business because of that special interest that she has expressed. And she often uses these animals. She also often talks about them in her publicity and in her, like I said, in her newsletter. And I believe that she's using it as a way to differentiate herself in the marketplace. So if you are a person who travels a lot, that might be even though your business might not be travel, it might be a great way to connect with your audience out there. So basically, a lot of the things that you're looking at here are things that would help you connect with people and then draw them into your business. Other people, for instance, might just, if you have young children and you're talking about children, some people might just come to do business with you because they think you understand them, you know where they're coming from. Your business might not be about children, but because they've got children and you talk about children and they think that they can bond with you on that level, that would make your business different. So for instance, let's assume that there are two business coaches, they're providing the same services, but because of their interests, their businesses might turn out different in the marketplace, especially if they express this difference or if they express these interests. Okay. Now, another area in which you can differentiate yourself is through your experience, skills, and talents. Your work experience is a good one. Your skills, your talents. Now, I'll just use, just for the sake of ease, I'll use the example of maybe another business coach. Now, there's another, because I'm a business coach, and there's another guy who I know who is also a business coach. But I don't see him as a competition. I don't know if he sees me as his competition. The only reason why I don't see him as well, I don't believe in competition because I believe that we can differentiate ourselves and we are different anyway. But the thing is that his background is so different. His skill sets are so different from mine. He's from a financial background. I'm not from a financial background. I've got IT skills. I'm from a more softer. I've got a lot of soft skills. So yeah, and for instance, I've got maybe internet marketing skills and so on and so forth. So even though we're both business coaches, because of the skills, his skill set or my skill set, or my experience or my talents, because they're different, we will create a different type of business, and we will appeal to different people because of the things that we focus on or the things that we emphasize in our business. Language is another one. Yeah, so you can differentiate yourself by the language that you use. What language resonates with your audience? Remember that marketing is actually about communicating, and it's about connecting with people. So if you're talking so if you know your audience, you've identified who your target market is, you need to know, okay, what are they? Do they want you to speak formally? Would they want you to speak informally? You know, how do they want you to relate with them? Do they want you to deal with them professionally, or would they want you to be down to earth with them? So you need to know your audience, and then you'll know the language that you would use in your marketing material or in how you present your business. And what you'd find is, can you imagine two different businesses? Let's still go back to the example of coaching businesses. Two different coaching businesses, and one is professional. One is very professional in terms of the way maybe they wear suits and how they deal with their clients in a very professional way. I'm not saying you can't be down to earth and professional, but I just mean very formal. And you have another business coach who is down to earth and they're in jeans. They might be dressed smart, you know, or the way they deal, they might, where they meet their clients and so on and so forth, might just be not as formal as the first example. So what you'd find is that because of the language or the formality or the informality of the of of the businesses or the different coaches, their businesses will turn out different and will attract different people. The reason why, you see, some of these things you're probably already doing. However, but when you are building a business, it's always better when you're doing something intentionally, because then you get you get better results when you do things intentionally. So you might be doing things unconsciously, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you do it intentionally, then you get better results. Yeah, your language could be optimistic. For instance, when I write in a very motivational way. That's I'm a motivational, I could say I'm a motivational coach, but I believe in personal development. I believe in encouraging people. So when I speak and when I write, my writing comes across that way, so that would differentiate me. If people look at my material, that might make me different from another person. The whole idea is that in whatever way that you speak or communicate with your target market, you just need to be consistent, because eventually it forms your brand, and when they read something, they don't even have to see your name on it. They will know that's you. So your language is a great way of differentiating yourself in the marketplace. Simply be yourself. Okay, so another way of differentiating yourself in your marketplace is by telling your story. And it's not just telling your story, but it's telling a story that resonates with your audience. And in most cases, you probably might have heard of the term, your zero to hero story. So basically, your zero to hero story is an account of where you were. Maybe you were down in the dumps and eventually you found yourself doing well. And most cases, your audience want to know what that situation, where you were and where you were today, before and where you are today. For instance, if you are a career coach, one thing you might want to do is to if there was a time when you didn't have a job and you struggled to get a job and you eventually got a job, and you went through a process, that might be your zero to hero story. And the good thing is that people will identify with it. Your clients would identify with it and think, oh yes, this person can help me achieve the same results. If you're a health practitioner, you might find that, okay, let's say you had a particular health challenge and you couldn't work out how to get rid of it, and eventually maybe you found a solution and you found your way back to health again. So that might be your zero to hero story. And what it does is that it helps your audience buy into you and your business and your solution. So they see, and into your process and into your programs, they see, okay, this person went through this and this is how they dealt with it. That means, oh yes, they can help me through with that process. So basically your zero to hero story would entail, or would be the details of where you were. That means maybe we were somewhere in the pits, and your aha moment when you found, okay, yes, something changed. You found maybe you saw the light. It would also include what steps you took to get out from where you were and where you are now. The most important thing when you're writing your zero to hero story is it's not just about you. They have to feel that they can identify with you and have the same experience too. Okay. Now, so the first part we've looked at now, we've just finished looking at, is how you can differentiate your business by being you, or by expressing different parts of your personality or your interests and so on and so forth. Now, this part that we're moving on to is more about differentiating using your business's characteristics. Now, one way in which you can distinguish yourself or differentiate yourself in the marketplace is through your business focus. Some of you that have been on the other programs, you know that I've spoken several times about your niche. And your niche is what you do. That is, okay, what you do, what solutions you provide for your target market. So, for instance, the example I've given here is a business coach. A business coach can coach startups. A business coach can focus on helping people with their mindset. Maybe they help them with get an entrepreneurial mindset. Or a business coach can focus on the marketing aspect of business. Yeah, so all I'm just trying to say here is that one way of differentiating yourself is by the focus of your business. For instance, you might be a health and wellness coach, and you might want to focus on maybe helping people with diabetes, or you might want to focus on let's say, helping people manage arthritis, or help them maybe live better with arthritis, or get rid of arthritis preferably. Yeah. So all I'm just trying to say is that because of the focus of your business, you will be different from all other businesses around you. Now, it's nice when you you might, for instance, I might say, okay, I'm a marketing coach, or I might say I'm a business coach, but maybe the strongest element of my business is marketing. I might have a little bit of mindset, and I might do a bit of startups. And another person may focus mainly on startups and may do a little bit of mindset and a little bit of marketing. So your emphasis or your focus will differentiate you in the marketplace. And that is something that you can easily create, especially using the experience that you've had. If, like I said, for instance, I've come from an IT background, and I did a lot of, I helped a lot of people turn their processes, computerize their processes, their business processes. So, for instance, if I now decide to be a business coach, that could also be a part of my business focus. I could bring that in, and that would make me different in the marketplace. Okay. Now, your target market could also make you different. And your target market, who you target, who you decide to work with, can make you, can differentiate you in your marketplace. For instance, I know of other business marketing coaches that work with businesses, small to medium-sized businesses. That means maybe businesses with employees of 1 to 5. Now, that's not the type of business I work with. I work with businesses with a solo, a one-person business, and that's the type of business I work with. So my target market already makes me different, even though we're in the same market, but the people I work with make me different from the other business. So I can differentiate myself by that. You can differentiate yourself by gender. Ideally, the people I work with are female. It doesn't mean I don't want to work with men, but I have decided to focus my business on working with women, and for marketing purposes and maybe for personal purposes as well. Okay, so your business, you can focus on a certain age or mindset. I realize that for people to be able to work with me, they need to be people who are open to success. Their minds have to be open to success, and you'd find that not everybody is like that. So for me, you might have 2 different business coaches, and my target market need to think They need to be high achievers. They need to think differently. They need to be people who are willing to invest in themselves and in their businesses. They need to be, they need to be people who want to aspire for greater things. And those are the kind of people I would work with. Yeah. You can also differentiate your business based on your the developmental phase that the person is in. And I'll just use another example using my type of business. For instance, I might work with just startups, people just starting out in business, or I might decide to work with people who are already in business, maybe who are struggling to get clients. Yeah. So you might have two business coaches, but one is working with people who are just starting up, and one is working with women, and one is, so the fact that they're a business coach doesn't mean that you're in competition as such, because the different elements of your business has actually differentiated you. You can also differentiate yourself by location. For instance, if a lot of people are in your niche are doing business online, you can decide to do business locally. Or if people are doing business locally, you can decide to take your business online. So it's a way yes. And when you have a business online, the way you package your services or the way you provide your services will differ. For instance, I'm providing my services through webinars. I have people who run conferences, who run face-to-face programs. So you might have so I don't see them as competition as such, because the way I deliver my services may appeal to a particular market, and the way they deliver theirs would appeal to another type of market. So let's talk about your provision. Now, your provision is also a way of differentiating yourself in your marketplace. Now, your provision is what you provide your audience, what you supply. And if you're a coach or if you're a consultant, you will have a core package. There will be a core part of your provision. And there might be other elements that are not so core. They're not part of your core program, but they're like bonuses. So you might have two people who are health coaches. The core part of the provision might be different from one another, or it might even be similar, but the bonuses that they add on to it, the add-ons, would be different. The way they package their programs will be different. So you don't have to, you can differentiate yourself on how you provide your services, or how you package your services. Like I mentioned service delivery earlier. I said somebody might want to deliver services face-to-face. Another person might prefer virtually. I mean, there's somebody in one of the network clubs that I go to, and she's a mindset coach. She helps people to think positively, but she has very little IT skills. So because I've been talking to her, why don't you run a webinar? Why don't you? But she's afraid of running webinars. So basically what works for her is she's happy holding seminars, live seminars in the community. So that works for her. So the way she's delivering her service might be different from another person in her niche who's providing the same service, and they might both appeal to different types of people. She might appeal to other people who are not comfortable with using IT. They might not be comfortable having their training delivered via the internet, and may prefer to have it face-to-face. So that's a way of her being different in her marketplace. Your service delivery might be through a third party. Some people might do their own service delivery. Another business might have it done through a third party. It might be one-on-one, it might be in groups. So all that makes your business very different from the other person's. These are ways in which you can differentiate your business. Now, if you look at all the things I've been talking about, you can see all these elements make up your business or make up a person's business. And when it's like a menu that you're choosing from. It's like you go to the restaurant and you're choosing from a menu. But by the time you choose this element and that element and that element, it's just literally impossible for your business to be the same as another person's. So I think a lot of times we need to understand that our businesses are not the same as another person's. However, we need to make sure that our clients perceive our businesses as such. It's not like we know it's not the same as another person's business, but our clients need to know that as well. And one way we can help them understand that is by the things that we decide to highlight, by the things that we decide to magnify in our business. Now, so we're still looking at how you can differentiate your business, but we're looking at the characteristics of your, we looked at the personal characteristics, we looked at differentiating your business by being you, but we're now looking at different characteristics or different aspects of your business that can make your business different. So earlier we looked at using your own personal story to differentiate your business in the marketplace. But now we're looking at using your business's story. So some businesses have a story. So your story might be how your business got started, you know, what led to you starting up that particular business, or basically it could be how your business evolved. So you might have two businesses or two people doing the same thing, but how they got started and how they evolved, when they tell that story and they make it a part of their brand, it creates a different business, and people may be attracted to that business because of that particular story. They might identify with it, or it might inspire them. So they might want to do business with you, or they might be attracted to your business for that reason alone. Your mission, and this is a good one. This is a good way to differentiate your business. Now, your mission is why, is your big why. Why are you in business? And this could include, for instance, when I talk about why I'm in business, I'm in this particular business so that I can help women, because women, I'm an advocate for women. I'm an advocate for children, you know. So one way I do my advocacy is by encouraging women in enterprise. So my big why is I want to see women better off in life. I also want, because what affects women affects their children and affects more people. When women suffer, a lot of other people suffer, and it's generally said that 7 out of 10 women will live at a poverty level at some time in their life. So basically, my why is to help women have better, be better able to cope with their finances and have maybe a better future. But your big why could be that you want to encourage healthy eating habits in the community, or with children, or with youth, or with families. It doesn't mean that your business is about that generally. Your business might not necessarily about that generally, but it could be an element that you highlight. Your business could be your big why, or your mission could be that you want to encourage family or community. It could be that you want to support local businesses, or you want to work with ethical suppliers. One of the companies that I worked with probably in the mid-90s had to do with, we were a co-op. There were 12 of us. We all owned the business. We all earned the same amount. We were the owners of the business, and we were the workers in the business, and it was a different type of business, and we only worked with ethical suppliers. There were so many things that we did ethically. Our target market was mainly the charity sector, the charitable sector. We were an IT company. So even though we were an IT company, our big why differentiated us in the marketplace. We actually stood out. Everybody knew who we were, and they knew what we stood for. So part of your big why could be that you want to support educational projects in your community, and so on and so forth. It could be empowering women. Okay. Now, Yeah, so one thing you want to do, one thing you might want to do is to create your own culture. Your business is your own world. If you're starting it, it's your own world. You can create your own culture, and your culture, the different elements that come into your own culture, the language you use. I was at an event this weekend, and the person who was hosting the event had actually created a culture. He had certain rules, and everybody knew his rules. He had his 10 commandments and everything, and everybody within the group adhered to his 10 commandments. He had his own language. In this case, it was actually not too good, because most of the every other word was a swear word. But that was his culture, and that's how he created it, and people had to take him or leave him. Yeah, so he had his rules. So you can have your norms or your laws, you know, what you will do, what you won't do. And that's the culture that you create within your business. You can have your own traditions. When I was part of that business where I said there were 12 of us that owned the business, we were joint owners, and we were workers within the same company. We had our traditions. We had things that we did every year. There were certain things that we had built into the business that were part of our traditions, and our clients knew about it, and it made us very different. Your preferences could be fun, it could be innovation, it could be artistic, and so on and so forth. So basically, if you create a powerful culture, one that you're passionate about, what you will end up doing is that you will draw others who have the same passion or the same stance to you. For instance, if you have a business and your mission is whatever, maybe your mission is tied into helping orphans, you'd find that people who have that particular passion may do business with you rather than another business around you. So these are the various ways in which you can differentiate your business. So I'll just go back up there. Okay, so I've come to an end of my presentation, and I'll just go to the next slide, which I'll introduce a service which I provide. And with this particular service, I can help you. And this is just one-on-one support if you needed that, if you felt that you needed more help in getting your business to where it needs to be. So this is a package to help you jumpstart your business or accelerate your business's growth, take your business to the next level fast, and help you to build a profitable foundation for your business using our Smart Marketers blueprint. So if you want one-to-one coaching to help you get to the next level of your business, please contact me by sending me an email. So it's davida@thesmartmarketersacademy.com. Okay, we'll go now to the next slide, which is to do with questions. If you have any questions, I'm able to take them. If you have any questions, I'm able to take them now. I know it's a bit of information. Any questions? I'm assuming that there are no questions. Okay, if there are no questions, we are okay. We've got a question here. Okay, so Ernest is asking, does it require using flyers to advertise a business? You can use, there's nothing wrong with using flyers to advertise your business, Ernest, But what I'd say is that you need to look at you first have to start with your target market. You need to identify who your ideal client is. You need to find out where they go, where do they hang out. And once you found where they hang out, you need to work out, you need to be able to identify what type of media they read. You know, where do they get, for instance, when they're looking for your type of business, where do they look? Do they look online? Do they look online? Do they ask a friend? Do they go to a particular newspaper or a magazine? So you need to know your target market more intimately and know what their habits are. Once you know what they do and how they search for the type of help that you provide, then it will be better to advertise where they would be looking. For instance, if your target market, if you find that they go online and search, do a Google search, then that might be the most appropriate place to advertise your business. If it's within a forum, if they go into a forum and ask questions from other people in that forum, that might be the best place to be. You know, that might be the best place to engage, that might be the best place to engage with them. You know, so for instance, flyers. If you're using flyers, if they maybe for instance, if they attend a particular event and you know that they're at that event, you might be able to use flyers to reach them. So you need to really know your audience, know where they hang out, know how they prefer to look for you, how they look for you before you actually are able to, before you're able to decide on what's the best means of reaching them. Now, if you don't do it that way, what you'd find is that you probably waste a lot of time and money using means or using means which wouldn't help attract the people that you're trying to reach. Does that help, Ernest? Okay. Any other questions before we close for the day? Any more questions, or we would call it a day now? Okay. So if there are no more questions, I just want to thank you for joining me on this webinar, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we look at the topic of how to generate more targeted, responsive, and profitable leads for your business. So this probably would help with that same question that you are asking, Ernest. This particular webinar that we'll be looking at next week will be addressing that in a lot of ways, I believe. Okay, so thanks for attending, and I'm going to say bye-bye now, if that's okay with you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.